In today's video, I'm going to tell you the truth about Suze Orman. Hey folks, I'm best-selling author of The Power of Zero, David McKnight. Suze Orman has been hawking financial advice for the last 25 years or so, and if you've ever listened to her, you know she has some pretty strong black and white, take it or leave it positions on most financial subjects. Take, for example, her position on cash value life insurance, or what I call the Life Insurance Retirement Plan, or LIRP. She addressed cash value life insurance on her website during one of her Question of the Week episodes. She says, "The question this week is one I hear over and over with slightly different specifics." Question: Suze, I was told that this life insurance product was a better investment than my 401k, 403b, or IRA. Is it? Let's break down her response sentence by sentence. She begins by saying, "If you could only see how angry I am as I type my answer, no, no, no." Whenever someone tries to sell you a life insurance policy with some story that it is a fantastic way to invest, you are to shut down that conversation and never work with that person again. You know, at first blush, I'm inclined to agree with Suze here. Life insurance should never be positioned as a better investment than a 401k, 403b, or IRA. At best, it's a complement to these other investment alternatives. I, of course, would prefer the Roth 401k, Roth 403b, or Roth IRA, but the broader point remains. If someone recommends life insurance as your best and only investment alternative, they probably have some sort of agenda, namely selling you a life insurance policy. But what is Suze Orman's beef with cash value life insurance? Well, she explains, "Please listen to me. Life insurance is an expensive way to invest. Anyone who is trying to sell you life insurance as an investment is not acting in your best interest." Well, there it is. Suze Orman doesn't like cash value life insurance because of its perceived high expenses. Well, this of course begs the question, what are the expenses in cash value life insurance and how do they compare to traditional investment alternatives? Well, as I've said in many other videos, the LIRP's expenses are higher in the early years, but much lower in the later years. But when you average them out over the life of the program, it's going to cost you anywhere from 1 to 1.5% of your cash value per year. In fact, the longer you keep your LIRP, the lower the average expenses over time. Keep your policy for 30 years or more, and you'll see those average internal expenses go as low as 0.5% per year. Compare that with a typical 401k from a medium-sized company that has an average annual fee of much closer to 1% of your balance per year. The problem is Suze Orman is looking at the annual expenses in the early years of the life insurance contract and projecting those out over the life of the policy. The problem is that's not how it works in real life. You see, the longer you keep your policy, the lower the average internal expenses go. It's like fine Wisconsin cheese. The longer you let it age, the better it gets. Take a look at this chart from my book, Look Before You LIRP. In this example, the LIRP is growing at 7.5% per year. By the 27th year, the internal rate of return is 6.01% and goes up from there. That's roughly a 1.5% average expense ratio per year that diminishes with each passing year. And remember, you're actually getting something useful in exchange for those fees. Not only are you getting safe and productive tax-free growth, but you're getting a death benefit that doubles as long-term care. Suze continues, "And don't let me near anyone who recommends doing a partial rollover out of a retirement plan into an insurance product." Now, are there advisors out there who recommend that their clients roll their entire IRAs into life insurance policies? Sure, and you should run from these advisors just as quickly as you can. But if you take what she's saying at face value, you'd be inclined to believe that there is never any scenario in which one should take money out of a 401k or IRA to put into a life insurance policy. The truth is there's nothing inappropriate about taking some money out of your tax-deferred investments, paying taxes at today's historically low tax rates, and then funding a cash value life insurance policy. The expenses in either alternative are roughly equal over time, and the LIRP gives you tax-free growth and a death benefit that doubles as long-term care. But when you take a one-size-fits-all approach to dispensing financial planning advice, you don't have the luxury of nuance. You're stuck painting everything with that same broad brush. Suze continues, what life insurance agents pushing the investment angle don't tell you. I am going to get a huge commission if you agree to this. Here, Suze is committing, of course, the logical fallacy of imputing nefarious motives to anyone who makes money in exchange for a service. If you go down to a Honda dealership, for example, and the salesman makes a commission in exchange for the Honda Accord he sells you, then clearly we should question both the viability of that Honda Accord as well as the honor and integrity of the salesman who sold it to you, or so the thinking goes. This is a weak argument that breaks down immediately upon examination. If this were really how she felt about it, she wouldn't be hawking the Suze Orman's Will and Trust Kit on Facebook for a one-time low payment of $99. Next, Suze addresses the surrender fees. If you want to cash out your plan early, you will likely pay big surrender fees. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Starting an LIRP is like getting married, and if you're not planning on keeping it until death do you part, you shouldn't be starting one to begin with. Further, squirreling money away for a long period of time before accessing it is not a concept foreign to most Americans. After all, most investors will readily put money into a 401k or IRA, full well knowing that if they plan on touching it before age 59 and a half, they'll pay state and federal tax at their highest marginal tax rate plus a 10% penalty to boot. Depending on your tax bracket, that could easily consume between 40 and 50% of that premature distribution. Now that's what I call a surrender charge. And then in Suze's next statement, her true colors really shine through. I can't be more explicit than to say anyone who insists life insurance is a smart way to invest is not to be trusted, period. So just like that, we go from cash value life insurance is bad to anyone who recommends it, regardless of the context or the comprehensiveness of the overall recommendation, which it's recommended, is not to be trusted. End of story. Once again, when you're a mainstream financial guru, you can only dispense one-size-fits-all financial planning advice, and therein lies the problem. If you've accumulated substantial wealth, you're probably not looking for a paint-by-the-numbers financial plan. You're looking for a customized, comprehensive, and balanced approach to retirement planning. And sometimes those types of plans call for cash value life insurance. She then goes on to say, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with investing in a regular taxable investment account. This is, of course, where cash value life insurance really shines. Presumably, if you're investing in a regular taxable investment account, it's because you've already maxed out your Roth IRA and your Roth 401k. So what Suze Orman is really saying is once you've fully funded those other tax-free alternatives, you should put any remaining savings into a taxable investment instead of a cash value life insurance policy. In other words, when given the choice between paying money to the IRS or paying money to a life insurance company, you should hand your money over to the IRS. Instead of getting tax-free growth and distributions and a death benefit that doubles as long-term care, you should pay the IRS more than you are legally required to pay them. Consider the following example. Let's take a 40-year-old who has an extra $20,000 per year to invest. His marginal tax rate is 30% and his expense ratio in his taxable investments is 1% per year. If he invests that $20,000 per year at a conservative rate of 6.6% per year, by the time he's 65, he'll have $841,378. If conversely, he were to contribute that $20,000 per year to a cash value life insurance alternative known as indexed universal life, he could get that same 6.6% rate of return without taking any more risk than what he's accustomed to taking in his savings account. And by the time he reaches age 65, he will have accumulated an astounding $1,344,713 that he can access 100% tax-free. So had he taken Suze Orman's advice in this scenario, it would have cost him $503,335, along with a death benefit that he could have accessed in advance of his death for the purpose of paying for long-term care. Now, is cash value life insurance a silver bullet? Far from it. But when given the choice between investing surplus savings in a taxable investment versus cash value life insurance, I think the numbers speak for themselves. In short, just like other mainstream financial gurus like Dave Ramsey or Clark Howard, Suze Orman is a generalist. She has neither the time nor the disposition to become an expert in every facet of financial planning. So she tends to go half an inch deep and a mile wide on just about every financial planning subject. And of course, the unwitting listener is all the worse for it. If you'd like to learn how cash value life insurance or the LIRP fits into a comprehensive, balanced approach to tax-free retirement planning, head on over to davemcknight.com. I'm happy to lend a hand. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.